Coming to you live from the TV10 studios right here in Kigali, Rwanda. Welcome to the Comprehensive English News Bulletin with me, George NDIRANGU. And me,
MBABAZI. And let's take a look at what made the headlines tonight.
The final verdict is out.
The National Electoral Commission releases the final list of parliamentary candidates for the September 16th election.
Members of a religious sect in Waraneza Yesu na Maria appealed against what they term as illegal detention.
And the first same-sex weddings take place in New Zealand after becoming the first country in the Asia-Pacific region and 14th in the world to legalize same-sex marriage. Well, a very good evening to you from wherever you're watching. Let's go straight into our news in details. Now, the National Electoral Commission has published the final list of candidates who have been accepted to go ahead with campaigns in the upcoming parliamentary elections scheduled to take place from 16th to 18th September this year.
Now, Mary Murergo kicks off tonight's bulletin with that story.
Among 441 candidates that had submitted their candidature to the Commission, 410 have been allowed to go ahead. Some of them pulled out of the race and others did not fill the necessary requirements. National Electoral Commission President Professor Kalisa Mbanda said that 85 candidates have been added on the provisional list that was published before. As seen on this final list, all 80 candidates that were submitted by FPR Inkotanyi and its allies have been given a go-ahead. Out of 65 candidates submitted by PS Imberakuri, 45 have been given a go-ahead as well. 80% of them is youth. In PSD, out of 80 candidates, 76 candidates have been allowed. In PAIR, 64 candidates out of 68 who had submitted their candidature have been allowed as well. On women level, in all provinces, almost all candidates that submitted their candidature have been allowed to go ahead, apart from the Western, Northern and the Eastern province, where one candidate in each province pulled out of the race. Among 5 private candidates that had submitted their candidature, 3 have been allowed to go ahead. On youth level, 1 candidate pulled out of the race, and the rest, numbering to 23, have been allowed to go ahead. On the side of people with disabilities, 1 candidate pulled out, while the rest 16 who had submitted their candidature have been allowed to go ahead. Professor Kalisa Mbanda said that after publishing this final list, National Electoral Commission is going to meet all the candidates and give them the guidelines, and after that, start campaigning next Monday. Though there are former members of Parliament Chamber of Deputies on this list, there are names of prominent politicians in Rwanda like Eugene Barikana, who is the director of the Office of the Prime Minister. Edouard Bamporiki, who is an artist, is also on this list from FPR. Niotwagira Francois, the former mayor of Ngoma district, as a PSD representative. Guillaume Sessions Awonimana, the advisor to the Minister of Sports and Culture, among other politicians. Mary Murergo, reporting for TV10.
Thank you, Mary Murergo, for that story. Now, Nyarugengi Intermediary Court today held an appeal of 9 women who were arrested for illegally assembling and inciting insurrection. These women are members of a religious sect called Waraneza Yesu na Maria. This sect is made up of some members of the Catholic Church.
Now, the team was arrested on July 21st as they marched around the city, allegedly having a message to address to the President of the Republic.
Now, in the appeal today, the prosecutors say that the kind of message they carried was aimed at inciting the public anxiety. And after the hearing, both parties, the court decided that it will pronounce its final decision regarding the detention or release on the 22nd of August this year.
Over to our stories. Now, it is now time for opinion segment. Today we ask for your thoughts on the issue regarding social media. Our question should be appearing on your screen right about now. We ask you, should Facebook and other social media sites like Twitter be blocked at workplaces and in schools?
Now, should Facebook and other social media sites like Twitter be blocked at workplaces and school? Give us your comments and feedback through our Facebook page TV10 Rwanda or send a message to 2010 and we'll be sure to read them in the course of our news bulletin. But for now, we however take a short break. Don't go away.
We'll be right back.
It's World Humanitarian Day.
We'll tell you how Rwanda marked the day after the break. Do stay with us. Welcome back, and if you're just joining us, you're watching the English news right here on TV10. Now, many young entrepreneurs after starting their businesses often find it hard to acquire decent office space. This is usually due to the fact that in many cases, these spaces are quite expensive.
Now, in the following report, Marina von Stackelberg takes a look at the new place in Kigali, which is helping Rwanda's small businesses grow by providing them with a cheap workspace that also allows them to collaborate with others to foot the office bills.
It's simply called The Office, and it's Rwanda's first co-working space. The office works on a simple concept. Everyone here pays a monthly fee, and in return, they share the costs of internet and electricity.
So I came back to Rwanda last January to start agro-processing business, actually, and I was working from a friend's house. And you just have all the issues here with, like, internet would go out or electricity would go out. It was pretty lonely working at home, and there was no community of people. Like, I couldn't tap into, like, a good graphic designer or, like, a good web designer or something for my company. And so I really just found myself wishing there was a cool space like in London or San Francisco or Berlin. And so I set about creating one.
Every month, as many as 35 people come to work here. They range from small businesses to independent artists, working in everything from agriculture to technology.
Our office space in Kigali is it sometimes can get really expensive, so this was a good affordable space to start with.
What this has done for me is, what I thought it would do was give me an outlet, give me some sort of environment where I could work where everyone else was working. That was the basic thought process. But once I actually arrived, within minutes of arriving, I met another photographer who was also hot desking here. She then got me a job within 24 hours, and then it just all started to basically snowball in a really great way, making new friends, networking connections, just taking a lot of photographs all over the city. I was really starting to create a network here artistically and creatively.
The office is not just people sitting in cubicles. It's a place for people to have fun and network, and you can really notice the difference here.
This space is the coolest space I've ever been to. It just makes your work easy. You think freely. It stimulates your creativity, and that's one thing I love. It makes us grow as a company, bigger and bigger, and new ideas pop up every day from nowhere, just because we're in an environment that really enables us to do so.
The Rwandan government's really emphasizing creating a good business environment. So the office is really just about creating a good physical environment for doing business. We just make it super easy for someone to set up a business. We give you a post office box, a telephone number, and you're instantly integrated into a community of people with contacts and knowledge and skills and everything you need, basically.
But the office also allows people to share ideas in an open concept environment. For TV10, I'm Marina von Stackelberg.
Thank you, Marina von Stackelberg. Now, August 19th today is the International Day of Humanitarian Aid. The world is celebrating this day, and there are some Rwandans right here that are calling upon their fellow citizens to help others who are suffering.
Now, Lauren Richardson went to speak to those in need and some people who were willing to help in this cause.
Some of the people at Kigali University Teaching Hospital are among those who don't have money to pay the hospital after receiving treatment. They are asking for help so that they can be discharged. Some of them have already been cleared to leave, but they don't have the money to pay.
If I get the chance, you find a volunteer who can pay for you, like the ones who take you from the streets. They bring you to the hospital and her or she pays for you.
The help they are giving me at the hospital, the doctor who came told me now that is finished, I should go home. In my case, if I can find people who can pay for me, things will be better.
The problem I have is that I don't have someone to take care of me, and I'm not able to get treatment the doctors prescribe. And the other problem is money, so I can get the medical equipment I need for treatment.
After seeing some of the problems the patients are facing, there are some people who have decided to take the initiative to approach patients who don't have someone to care for them. After approaching them, they give them food, they pay their insurance, and they give them clothes.
We encourage people to work together. Let's love others who are vulnerable. Sincerely, I came here every day. If you come and see the people, you may feel the need to help your fellow friend. So I'm encouraging the people to help each other, because you may eat 3 times a day and there is someone who didn't eat once. Let's help all of us who are suffering.
International Day of Humanitarian Aid began in 2003 after the United Nations lost 22 workers in a humanitarian aid project where they were serving in Baghdad, Iraq. This day makes sure that everyone will remember those people and how they served through their humanitarian action. Lauren Richardson reporting for TV10.
Well, still on humanitarian issues, the Council of Muslim University students have decided to help unable citizens get a better future and better health by getting medical insurance for them, also known as Mutual de Sante.
This was done as a way to conclude their fasting season. Our reporter Sumta Ingabire has that report.
68 unable Rwandan citizens were among the lucky ones to be offered medical insurance, commonly known as Mutuelle de Sante, by university students from Kigali Independent University. These university Muslim students decided to do something great, winding up their Eid al-Fitr celebrations together with their fasting season, Ramadan, where they came up with a theme that aimed at helping and building a better future for tomorrow.
Choosing that theme, we had to come up with a suitable program alongside the government's plan of self-reliance in order to build a better future for all Rwandans.
The decision to give away this medical insurance help was aimed at helping the poor and enable citizens to gain better health and living conditions. All these health documents totaled up to 190,000 Rwandan francs.
We thought of building houses for those who are not in a position to help themselves and provide them with cows as well, but we couldn't because of our limited financial, and we still have hope that in the future we shall offer more help. We based on that to help the unable people.
These students have future plans of coming together in cooperatives in line with self-reliance and a better healthy Rwanda. Reporting for TV10, I'm Sumta Ingabire.
Quite noble of the ladies and gents in that report there. It is now time for a short commercial break. When we come back, we take a look at other stories happening outside the world and our opinion results from the question that we asked you earlier. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Welcome back and thank you very much for staying tuned to TV10. Now we take a look at the stories happening outside the country. Judicial officials say today that the former Egyptian President Hosni Mubarak, who is on trial for killing of hundreds of protesters during the 2011 uprising that led to his ouster, could be released from custody later this week.
The officials say that there were no longer any grounds to hold the 85-year-old former autocrat because of the expiration of a 2-year legal limit for holding an individual in custody pending a final verdict.
Now, today's stunning announcement came as security forces said suspected Islamist militia ambushed 2 minibuses carrying off-duty policemen in Egypt's Sinai Peninsula, forcing the men out onto the pavement and shooting 25 of them dead.
It was the deadliest attack in Egypt in years. In all, nearly 1,000 people have been killed in violence between security forces and supporters of ousted President Mohamed Morsi since last Wednesday. The government has ordered an investigation into their deaths.
Now, meanwhile, security remains tight in the capital, Cairo. The military leader says he will not tolerate violence and has warned the country's Islamists to change course.
Elsewhere, South African athlete Oscar Pistorius will go on trial in March next year for the killing of his girlfriend, Riva Steenkamp. A court in Pretoria charged him earlier today with murder and the illegal possession of ammunition.
Now, Pistorius has admitted to shooting his girlfriend in February, but says he did so by mistake. He was granted bail in February and has since resumed some low-key training. The double amputee won gold at the London 2012 Paralympic Games and also competed at the Olympics.
His arrest in February stunned many South Africans who saw him as a national sporting hero after his long legal battle to be able to take part in the Olympics.
Now to a very interesting story. New Zealand has become the first country in Asia-Pacific region to legalize same-sex marriages. Now, dozens of couples held weddings all over the country today, and officials say marriage applications have tripled since the government legalized same-sex marriages and made the forms available.
According to the Department of Internal Affairs, 31 same-sex couples had been due to marry by today. The move, however, has faced opposition from Christian lobby groups. Conservative lobby group Family First said changing the Marriage Act was an arrogant act of cultural vandalism, which did not have a public mandate.
But the campaign for marriage equality said it ended a historical injustice. The law change has angered some religious leaders, with the Anglican Church asking its ministers not to conduct the weddings. New Zealand's MPs approved the bill by a large majority in April this year, with 77 votes in favour and 44 against. Well, George, I don't know what you'd say about that.
13. There were 13 countries. New Zealand makes it 14 across the entire world that has legalized same-sex marriages.
Do you see any African country taking lead?
I don't know. To be honest, Africa is very conservative, and it's a very delicate topic to discuss on air right now. We take a slight look at what's happening in the sports world. Amid club transfers, injuries, and benching rumors, the English Premier League began over the weekend with 3 major matches: Liverpool versus Stoke City, Swansea versus the #1 team Manchester United, and Aston Villa versus FIONA MBABAZI's team Arsenal, that was thrashed a devastating 3-1. Fiona, let me put you on the hot spot now for just a minute. How do you feel knowing that the team you support was dealt a major blow as the EPL just started? Bad performance. We've just started bad performance.
You know what they say, George, you don't cut your arm just because you burnt your finger. Bad days are there, good days are ahead. So, Arsenal, we're still waiting. Do us proud.
I think we'll have to wait until 2014. Fiona, that's your cue.
Well, for all that and more, stay tuned for a sports show right after this news bulletin. We have come to the end of our English news bulletin. Earlier, we had asked for your opinion regarding social networks. We asked you, should Facebook and other social media sites like Twitter be blocked at workplaces and in schools? We
asked again, should Facebook and other social media sites like Twitter be blocked at workplaces and in schools?
Well, we do appreciate your feedback all over social platforms. And just to sample a few of your comments. Well, during working and classes time, Facebook should be disabled, but Twitter can be used in researches in they block Facebook. That is from Dushinimana Fidel.
We have another one here from Fabrice, who says, no, 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 no. That must have been a very, very honest comment. He said, no, no, no.
Yes, I like what Dushimima Nava said, just during work time and class. But I wonder if you're a journalist, you have to get some stories from, you know. Kacha Kakole from Mutare says, yes, they should, because some of us start to be addicted on those social networks. They distract the youth especially.
I will agree to disagree. Nkurunziza Innocent in Chambogo University in Uganda, all the way in Uganda, says this social media was introduced for a reason, and the major reason was to get in touch with people across the world, and in so doing, this helps people to find friends and access jobs, which is of great use. So I don't support that, especially at workplaces. For class time, let it be disabled, but not for good, because you're using it in research.
I think Nkurunziza Innocent is a bit right here, George, when he says for research, for social purposes, just as long as it doesn't affect your work.
Yeah, true.
And there was Theophile Ishimwe. He says, hi, I'm from Rubavu. Your topic is so fantastic because those social media sites disturb workers in different institutions that can make negative impacts in development ways in each sector. It should be better to avoid it in each institution in times of work so that we can improve in all. Thanks.
Another one from Dabakunda Leon Fidel, our final one actually. They should be blocked. Did you know that sometimes you may go to an institution to receive some services and you'll be shocked to find that the person supposed to serve you is busy on Facebook when they're supposed to serve you? Something like that has happened while at the hospital.
Yeah, I know it has also happened to me, and I think when it comes to some places, hospitals, banks.
Yeah, service-oriented places.
Exactly, yes. Service-oriented places, especially with Rwanda when we have a problem with customer care. I think it should be banned.
What about you here at the workplace?
At workplace, I'm a journalist, you know, we get our stories from Facebook at times and Twitter, so George.
Only Facebook. With that, we wrap up our news, but before we leave you, let's take a look at the stories that made our headlines.
The final verdict is out.
The National Electoral Commission releases the final list of parliamentary candidates for the September 16th election.
Members of a religious sect in Waraneza, Yezu na Maria appealed against what they term as illegal detention.
And the first same-sex weddings take place in New Zealand after becoming the first country in the Asia-Pacific region and 14th in the world to legalize same-sex marriage. We are keen to have your feedback on our effort. Do let us know by sending us an email to news@tv10rwanda.com or connect with us on our social media page, our Facebook page being TV10 Rwanda and our Twitter page. On behalf of the entire team that made this news possible, my name is George NDIRANGU.
And I'm FIONA. Do have yourselves a good evening and a lovely night.